Hi, everybody. Welcome to. Thank you. Welcome to Moundsview versus Elk River at Shakopee. I will be the one talking today, as people said I was a lot better than my dad, and I appreciate it, so thank you. So we'll try something new. So if you can hear me or not hear me clearly, please comment and tell us so that we can fix it. Is he up there now? Did he recognize you?
I'm asking clearly.
I got some dumb looks from players.
Oh, sports fans, welcome to the next.
Have about 2 minutes left of warm-ups here, and then we'll get the show on the road here at Shakopee.
Remember,
Yeah, I know, I have it right here. He's gonna sit here.
I won't be able to hear you.
I'm not.
We have 6 people left.
I'm gonna assume you're all gonna be Elk River. Warm-ups have now concluded, and we will be starting this afternoon's game momentarily. And starting for your Elks today, starting at center, we have Teddy Alcott. His wings are Robbie Stoltz and Jackson Helm. And D is Jack Riley and Ethan Thomas. Start with Helm entering offensive zone. Tries to go across to Alcott. Not quite there. Thomas holds it into the zone. Robbie with a shot just over the net. Alcott tries to jam it in near side, and then Moundsview clears it. Thomas across to Riley. Riley up to Alcott. Alcott not quite able to hang on and comes back to Riley. Riley enters offensive zone. Goes through the defenseman, tries to get a shot, and just good save by Moundsview goalie. Comes back to the near board. Stoltz dumps it back in deep. Helm picks it up in the corner. Alcott is able to battle through. Comes back down into the corner. Stoltz is there to pick it up. Goes across the front of the net and down to Thomas. Thomas comes around. Moundsview is not able to get control, and Thomas gets it back. Riley is picking it up behind the net. Tries to jam it in near side, just can't quite get there. Back to Hughes. Hughes with a slap shot, hits the post down into the corner to Bratzel behind the net. Bratzel tries to center for Westgard, couldn't quite get there, and Moundsview clears it all the way down for icing. The faceoff comes back into the Moundsview zone. Bratzel taking the draw, wins it back to Hughes. Hughes dumps it into the far corner, up to Bankston. Yeah? Oh, thanks. Sorry. Bratzel not quite able to hang on to it. Rotz is just offside as the faceoff comes to the offensive blue line for the Elks. Bratzel takes the draw, wins it back to Bankston. Bankston comes back. Tries to give it to Westgard, intercepted by Moundsview, but Bratzel takes it away. He's able to enter the zone. Goes through two defenders down into the corner. Brings it back to Westgard. Westgard fanned on the pass and is in battle in the corner. Bratzel picks it up. Bratzel goes out to Hughes. Hughes shoots, and good save by the Moundsview goalie. And the Elks have 2 shots, and Moundsview have 0. So Halverson takes the draw, tries to go back to Hughes. Moundsview intercepts, and tries to dump it down deep, but it'll go for icing and will bring the face-off back into the Elks offensive zone. Halverson taking the draw again. Tries to come through. Moundsview able to take control. Walk it past the red line and dump it down deep. White tried to pick it up, just came off his stick. Bankston gets it back in the corner, tries to go up to the point. Shot by Moundsview, blocked by Hughes. Back out to Trzynski. Skates through neutral up to White into the offensive zone and not quite able to hang on. So Moundsview will bring it out of the zone and into the Elks defensive. Skyberg with a good hit, brings it back to Halverson. Halverson tries to go across. White picks it up. White comes through neutral. And Trzynski just offsides with White carrying the puck. So face-off will come to Elks offensive blue line. Alcott taking the draw, wins it back to Skyberg. Skyberg goes across to Bassett. Bassett dumps it down deep on net. Alcott into the corner with a battle with Stoltz. Stoltz goes up to Bassett. Bassett not quite able to hold it in. Comes back. Bassett goes across to Skyberg. Skyberg back over to Bassett. Bassett hits it out to Helm. Helm goes to neutral for Stoltz and Alcott. Almost down deep. Couldn't quite get there. Moundsview brings it out of the zone and dumps it all the way down for icing. And the face-off will come back to the Moundsview zone. We've got Brotzel taking the draw. And he wins it back to Skyberg. Skyberg tries to put it down deep. First try didn't work. Second try did. Back up to Skyberg. Skyberg goes not quite down to Westgard, but to Brotzel behind the net. Brotzel up to Westgard. Centered for him, but not quite get there. Skyberg backhands it in for a save from Moundsview. The face-off is back to the same spot. Brotzel wins it back to Skyberg. Skyberg tries to go across for Bassett. Rotz picks it up. Rotz goes down to Westgard. Westgard up to Bassett. Bassett back down to Westgard. And a battle on the near boards. Bassett tries to put it back down deep. Moundsview able to get control. Bassett steals and tries to put it down the corner. Not quite there. Moundsview is able to clear it all the way out. Skyberg picks it up. Gives it to Brotzel. Brotzel enters the zone. Puts it down in the corner. Picks it up and rings it around. For Thomas. Thomas picks it up, puts it back down deep. Ooh, Thomas not able to hold it in. Brings it across for Westgard. Westgard down to Rotz. Rotz tries to take a shot. It was blocked. Brotzel up and around. Gets hooked there. And a call. So delayed penalty. Rotz tries to clear, and Moundsview is able just to get a touch on it. So the Elks will go on to a power play. Starting out the power play will be Halverson at center, Trzynski and White at his wings, and Riley and Skyberg at D. Halverson brings it back to Skyberg. Skyberg over to Riley. Riley fans on a shot. White able to clear to the corner to Halverson. Halverson brings it around the net. Leaves for Trzynski. Trzynski in front of the net. And a good glove save by Moundsview. It's good wraparound play there. Halverson taking the face off. Halverson goes down to the corner. Moundsview able to clear all the way down. Riley's back to pick it up. Comes behind and stops behind the net. Gives it to Skyberg. Skyberg goes across for Halverson, not quite able to lead him. Moundsview puts it back down for Riley to pick up. Riley up to Halverson. Halverson comes through neutral. Gets into the offensive zone. Halverson up to White. White with a shot and a goal! Great. Goal by White from Halverson. A beautiful drop pass play. And Elks are on the board for first, making it 1-0. Alcott here to take the draw. Alcott wins it forward, not quite able to hold on. Hughes brings it back up the board, tries to go to Stoltz, couldn't quite get there. Alcott picks it up, brings it into the offensive zone. Battle on the sideboard. Up to Hughes. Hughes with a shot on net. Ooh, rebound. Alcott tries to put it in deep, and it is stuck in front of the net. Helm out to Bankston. Bankston tries to shoot, couldn't quite get a piece of it, and Moundsview is skating it back into the zone. Hughes into the corner, is able to poke check, puts it up to Alcott. Alcott skates it through, gives it to Stoltz. Stoltz not able to hang on. Alcott picks it up. Oh, digs through two guys, gives it to Helm. Helm over to Stoltz. Stoltz tries a wraparound, hits the side of the net. Battle on the near board. Moundsview picks it up and flings it all the way down. Sherritt goes all the way up the near boards for Helm. Helm dumps it in deep, goes for a change. Halverson. Oh, no, that's Bratzel. Oops. Moundsview throws it back out for Hughes. Hughes goes across for Rotz. Gets a piece of it, so there's no icing. Westgard goes. Comes back out for Riley. Riley goes over to Thomas. Thomas back over to Riley. Riley up to Rotz. Rotz comes through neutral. Walks it into the offensive zone with a shot and a goal! Rotz walks it all the way through neutral, down into the zone, around the defender, and puts it beautifully into the net. It's a very good assist by Riley. And the Elks are on the board a second time, making the score 2-0. Halverson on the draw. Trzynski blows through, not quite able to hang on, comes back out for Thomas. Thomas goes over to Riley. Riley up to White. White not quite able to hang on. Brings it up for Trzynski. Battle on the near board. White brings it back to Thomas. Thomas over to Riley. Riley goes up and tries to dump it in deep, not able to get there. And Moundsview brings it out of the zone. Riley's able to poke. Not quite. White is able to gain control and get it in deep. Battle on the near board. It's a delayed penalty on Elk River. So Elk River will now be on the penalty kill. The penalty is on Aiden White. Not sure what he did, but now we bring it down to 4v5. Moundsview wins it back up to their D. Pulls it down. Back up. Not able to hold it in and dumps it down deep. Moundsview has to come back up and regroup. Skyber picks it up. floats it all the way back for Moundsview to pick up. Trzynski pressuring. Moundsview able to push it down into the D zone. Halverson flips it up for Trzynski, who's going hard. Moundsview is able to pick it up and pull it all the way up through neutral. Bringing it into the zone. A great block by Bassett takes him down. Good stick by Skyberg, floats the puck up. Skyberg floats it all the way down for Moundsview to pick up. A minute left in this penalty kill. Ooh, a little mishandle by the goalie. Halverson was almost able to capitalize. Moundsview dumps it in deep. Hughes back to pick it up. Backhands it up the near board. Good block by Alcott. Back up to Stoltz. Stoltz whiffs on it. Not able. Alcott able to clear. Alcott picks it up again in neutral. Brings it in the offensive zone. Good shot and saved by Moundsview. .30 seconds left in this penalty kill. Moundsview able to pick it up. Not quite. Alcott intercepts. Tries to give it over, but nobody was there. Up to Bankston. Bankston floats it down. Not able to hang on. Moundsview tries to dump it down deep. Stoltz clears back to Hughes. Hughes floats it all the way back down for Moundsview. Alcott in pressuring is able to grip onto the puck in the book corner. Brings it out. Gives it to Hughes. Hughes with a shot. Just misses the net. Bankston flips it back down deep for Helm, who's trying to dump it. Seems like a little holding right there. Westgard out to Bratzel. Ooh, Bratzel not able to hang on. Bratzel out in front. Ooh, just right in front of the goalie, just sitting there. Hughes is able to control, but they have to come out and regroup. Moundsview puts it all the way down, not icing because it went between Banks and stick. Ooh, Moundsview in a little scrum with Hughes. Hughes comes back through the corner. Hughes flips it up for Westgard. Westgard not able to hang on, and Moundsview puts it back into the zone. Bratzel picks it up, brings it around back behind the net. Goes all the way up to Rotz. Rotz flicks it into the zone. And Moundsview goalie pushes it out. Moundsview brings it all the way back, and Riley takes it. Riley takes it into the offensive zone. And shot, and a little wide. Brings it up into the netting. And the face-off will come back down into the Moundsview zone. Well, there's about 3 minutes left in the period. Halverson took the draw, wins it back to Riley. Riley over to Thomas. Thomas puts it down deep for White. White in the board battle. Halverson picks it up and tries to center for Trzynski. Not able to hang on. Riley with a shot, just misses the net. Thomas back down to White. White in a corner battle. Centers it for Halverson. Halverson not able to take a shot. Riley comes down to pinch with Trzynski supporting. Back out to Thomas, intercepts, and a good glove save by Moundsview. It's about 2 minutes left in the period here. Shots on goal are Elk River 11 to Moundsview 0. Halverson takes the draw, comes back to Trzynski, over to Riley. Riley with a shot and a beautiful tip by Aiden White. Puts it right up top. So that's goal by Aiden White from a shot from Jack Riley. Puts the Elks on the board again, making the score 3-0. Oof. A tie-up off of the face-off, and Helm is able to bring it into the offensive zone. Helm tries to settle for Stoltz, not quite there. Alcott picks it up out of the corner. Escapes, brings it up to Helm. Helm dumps it back down deep. Thomas not able to hang on, is able to bring it back, and Robbie Stoltz dumps it back down deep. Riley pinches, is able to keep it into the zone just for a second, and Moundsview comes out with it. Dumps it down deep, but hits Thomas in the shins. We have 3 Elks with 1 Moundsview. They get it back down behind the net. Riley goes to pick it up, not able to clear it. The Moundsview holds on to it behind the net. About a minute left in the period. Alcott battling on the boards. Riley picks it up, floats it up to Helm. Helm comes through neutral. Helm comes through, drops it for Thomas. He shoots, not just a little wide, and comes back out to Bassett. Bassett tries to dump deep, but Bratzel picks it up, brings it through the offensive zone, not able to deke through the defender. And Moundsview puts it all the way back down for Skyberg to pick up. Skyberg up to Bassett. Bassett enters the zone, not quite able to hang on. Moundsview picks it up behind the net. Bratzel on a board battle. Moundsview is able to clear it. Up to Rotz, comes back to Skyberg. And the period is over. And that will be all for the first period. Have about a minute intermission before we start the second period. Again. For all of the 10 people who are watching, thanks so much. I'm having a great time. For those of you who know my father, he just spilled his coffee for the second time today.
She'll give you $10 if you work in Luke to Luke in the second period. Challenge accepted.
Okay, and on our way to starting the second period, switching sides. And here we go. Shots are Elk River 12, Moundsview 0. Score is Elk River 3 to Moundsview 0. Alcott taking the face-off for Elk River. He's able to push it through. Moundsview picks it up, brings it up to neutral. They dump it down deep in the Elk River zone. Sherrod able to hang on. Face off in the Elk River zone. Alcott comes out. Moundsview with a shot. Brings all the way back around. Down. Skyberg picks up behind the net. Brings it up for Helm. Helm not able to clear it. Alcott brings it back to Bassett. Bassett flips it up out of the zone to Helm. Helm across to Stoltz. Bats it in for Helm. Helm not able to hang it on and comes back out to Bassett. And Bassett dumps it down deep. in the Moundsview zone. Moundsview picks it up, tries to get it out of the zone. Skyberg fires it back in. Stoltz tries to center for Helm, not quite there. Comes up for Bassett. Bassett comes down deep with Helm. Helm tries to center again. No one there, and Moundsview picks it up for almost a 2-on-1. They were not able to hang on to that. Moundsview with a shot. Skyberg picks it up and goes up to Stoltz. Stoltz just fires it into nowhere. Bassett picks it up in neutral. Moundsview steals. Helm steals. Helm dumps it back down deep. Chuzinski picks it up in the corner. Tries to bring it out for Halverson. Couldn't quite get there. Moundsview does a little tic-tac-toe and pushes it out into neutral. They dump it down deep in the Elk zone. Bankston back to pick it up for the Elks. Little corner battle. Halverson brings it around the net. White picks it up, brings it out center, intercepted by Moundsview. Shot. Good save by Sherritt. Hughes lays a hit on a guy. Bankston up to Chuzinski. Chuzinski not able to hang on. Bankston brings it through neutral. Brings it back down. Back to Bankston. Bankston gets it down deep. Halverson there to battle. White picks it up. Not able to hang on. Moundsview brings it back. Hughes with a good pinch on the board. Trusinski picks it up. And a shot just misses wide. Hughes able to hold the blue line. Flicks it back down for Trusinski. Trusinski centers out for Halverson. Not quite there. It comes back out to neutral. White picks it up. Brings it into the offensive zone. With a shot. Good rebound there. Nobody there to put it home. Trusinski battles in the corner. Pushes his guy down. Moundsview able to bring it out of the zone. Bankston picks it up. Tries to go over to Hughes. Gets blocked. And then he throws it down for Moundsview to pick up. Stuck in Rotz's feet in the defensive zone. Rotz brings it back behind the net. Starts skating up. Gives it to Trusinski. Trusinski goes over to Hughes. Hughes fires it through for Halverson. Two-line pass. Halverson tries to go through the defender. And both take a spill. Westgard picks it up. Tries to center for Halverson. Gets held up. Rotz behind the offensive net. Not able to hang on. Rotzel steals. Riley able to hold the zone. Tries to give it to Westgard. This battle on the near board. Seems like the Moundsview kid is laying on the puck, and now Riley's laying on the puck, and now Moundsview is able to carry it out. Misses pass, gives it back to Westgard. 3-on-2. Westgard back to Rotzel, and Westgard almost great play. Not able to get it in. Rotz comes back to Rotz. Down for Westgard. Rotzel tries to pick it up. Not quite there. Thomas picks it up in the corner. Brings it down. Reverse. Throws it out for Riley. Riley with a shot. Hits the crossbar. And his bounces out for a save of Moundsview. So close. I would be twirling in circles if that happened to me, otherwise known as loop-de-loops. Yeah, Riley's hit 2 of the 3 bars so far. One more at goal, and then he can score. Alcott taking the face off. Alcott wins it back for Thomas. Thomas with a shot just wide. Riley picks it up on the near board. Tries to give it to Helm. Just behind him, deflects up into the netting, and will bring the face-off back down. Alcott taking the face-off. Wins it to Helm. Helm back to Bassett. Bassett over to Skyberg. Skyberg shoots, and it's blocked by Moundsview. Moundsview brings it back around the net. Helm picks it up. Helm tries to go back, gets intercepted. Bassett holds the line and flicks it back down deep. Stoltz in the battle in the corner. Alcott picks it up. Alcott back to Bassett. Bassett through traffic brings it back down. Stoltz in the corner to pick it up. Comes back out to Skyberg. Skyberg over to Bassett, kind of. Alcott able to push it back down deep. Alcott tries to put it down into the net. Couldn't quite get there. Helm back to pick it up. Tries the center. Is blocked by Moundsview. Stoltz off of the board with a shot. Oh, it's rebound laying right there. Couldn't quite capitalize on it. Skyberg comes around. Brings it back down deep. Comes back behind the net. Centers it out in front. Stoltz is able to pick it up and put it right into the net. It's a great pass from Skyberg behind the net to Stoltz for a goal. And that's number 4 for the Elks. Score is 4-0. Shots on goal. Elks 16 to Moundsview's 2. About 9 minutes left in the period. Halverson wins the draw through. Sorry, voice crack. Over to Trusinski. Trusinski tries to give it back to Halverson. Wasn't quite there. Trusinski back behind the net. Tries the center for Halverson again. Couldn't quite get there. Moundsview brings back in the offensive zone. Shot and great save by Sherritt. Halverson took the face off. Back to Hughes. Hughes makes a 2-line stretch pass to White. White not able to hang on. Moundsview brings it back behind the net. All alone. Puts it back out for Bankston. Bankston neutral. Is able to go through defender and dump it back deep. Halverson gives chase. Goes over to White. White all alone. Centers for Link. Trusinski. Trusinski snaps his stick. And it hits Bankston with it, but Moundsview is able to bring it back down to the Elk zone. Hughes picks it up, passes it right to Moundsview. Moundsview's pass gets intercepted by White. Halverson picks it up, one-on-one. He's not able to peek through the defender, and it's thrown back out for Bankston. Bankston, looking around, brings it back behind the Elk River net. Gets caught. Gets thrown out front, and there's nobody for the Elks out front. And Moundsview is able to put it away for a goal. Score is now Elks 4, Moundsview 1. Bratzel here to take the draw for the Elks. Bratzel wins it to Westgard. Westgard back to Riley. Riley back up to Bratzel. Bratzel brings it down in the zone. Leaves it back for Westgard. Westgard with a shot and a good glove save by Moundsview. And bring the face off into the Moundsview zone. Bratzel again here to take the draw. Wins it through to Westgard. Westgard up to Riley. Riley with a shot. Just misses wide. Rotz picks it up. Brings it back behind the net. Rotz whittling through. Back to Westgard. Westgard not able to hang on. Bratzel tries to shove it in. Couldn't quite get there. Westgard tries to pick it up to Bratzel. Gives chase into the corner. Thomas able to hold it in. Back up to Thomas. Bratzel picks it up. Brings back to Thomas. Thomas escapes. Back out to, not quite able to get to Westgard. Riley picks it up. Brings back up to Rotz. Rotz comes through. Not able to hang on. Riley holds it in. Riley shoots. Misses a little wide. Bratzel picks it up behind the net. Gives it to Rotz. Bratzel tries to get it out of the corner. Rotz and Bratzel trying to work magic. Those are names are really hard to say right next to each other. Riley is not able to hang on. Gives it back to Moundsview. Moundsview centers. And a goal. Moundsview is able to center the puck right in front of Sherritt. And there's a good shot from number 21, which makes the score Elks 4, Moundsview 2. And about 6 minutes left in the second period. Alcott wins the faceoff through, brings it down into the Moundsview zone, centers it, not quite able to get there. Ooh, Skyberg holds his own, not quite able to hang on, and a breakaway by Moundsview. Good back check by Bassett and Skyberg to take the puck away. Moundsview has it in the zone. Good block by Bassett. Alcott goes across for Stoltz. Stoltz tries to come up and gives chase. Moundsview able to knock it back down into the Elk zone. Bassett comes up to Helm. Helm not quite able to hold on. Stoltz picks it up on the other side. Dumps it down deep. Helm has it. Helm comes up to Skyberg. Skyberg with a shot. Rainbows over the net. Bassett picks it up. Brings it down into the corner. And a delayed, or just a penalty on Moundsview. Seems like it would be interference to me. They kind of hit knees. Oh, tripping. So the Elks will be on the power play. Starting on the power play for the Elks will be Halverson at center, Truzinski and White, and then Skyberg and Riley. Skyberg over to Truzinski. Truzinski walks through with a shot and a goal! Truzinski is able to put it in far side, far blocker. So that's Truzinski from Skyberg. Another great play from the Elks. Halverson takes the draw, is able to win it through and push through. Comes through one defender, not able to get through the other. Moundsview able to bring it up. Couldn't quite center the pass. Skyberg puts it up for Truzinski. Truzinski gets it knocked away. White on a battle on the far board in front of the bench. Is able to hold the line. Moundsview tries to go off the board and goes all the way down for icing, and the faceoff will come back into the Moundsview zone. It's about 4 minutes left in the period. Score Elks 5 to Moundsview 2. Shots are Elks 20 to Moundsview's 5. And we will come back with Bratzel taking the draw. Bratzel wins it over to Westgard, over to Hughes. Hughes tries to go over to Rotz, kind of fluttering in the air. Rotz able to pick it up. Rotz comes back for Bratzel. Bratzel leaves it for Bankston. Bankston bringing it down deep. Not able to hang on. Moundsview picks it up. Dumps it. Westgard able to dump it deep for Rotz to pick up. Rotz comes around the net. Gets blocked by Moundsview. Westgard and Rotz battling in the corner. Rotz comes out with it. Centers for Bratzel. Not quite able to knock it in there, but it was a great play. And the faceoff will come back to the near side in the Moundsview zone. Bratzel takes the draw, wins it back to Hughes. Hughes walks over to Westgard. Great one-timer, not able to get it in. Comes back to Bankston. Bankston throws it down in the far corner. Hughes with a shot, just a little wide. Not able to hold the zone. Moundsview comes out with it. Hughes knocks it away. Bratzel threads it through to no one in particular. Hughes picks it up, goes over to Rotz. Rotz picks it up off the board. Rotz comes through back to Westgard. Westgard cars come for Bratzel, not able to hang on, and Moundsview is able to bring it back out. Hughes blocks it. He's able to pick up the puck on the far side, brings it around for Westgard. Westgard puts it out for Bratzel to pick up. Bratzel walks it down into the Moundsview zone, leaves it for Rotz. Rotz with a shot, and a good save by Moundsview goalie. A couple of really good plays by the Elks right here. Hoping to get another one in before the period ends. Alcott wins it over to Stoltz. Stoltz back to Riley. Riley dumps it back down deep. Moundsview goalie able to take it off the board and cover. She'll bring the face off to the near side in the Moundsview zone. Stoltz taking the face off. Stoltz wins it back to Riley. Riley over to Thomas. Thomas with a shot, just wide. Riley able to hold the zone on the near side. Brings it down to Alcott. Alcott with a board battle. Stoltz tries to center it. Thomas comes down for a shot. Can't quite hold it. Riley walks it down into the zone. Dumps it down deep. Moundsview picks it up. Stoltz there to steal it. Centers it for Helm. Helm with a shot. And a chest save by Moundsview. About 2 minutes left in the period. Halverson taking the draw. White is able to pick it off the board, bring it back to Thomas. Thomas tries to take a shot, gets intercepted by Moundsview. Moundsview brings it through neutral, into the zone, shot, misses wide. Sherrod able to take it off the board for a cover. Face-off will be in the Elk zone on the near board. Halverson takes the draw, wins it back to Riley. Riley goes over to Thomas. Thomas flips it all the way through into neutral to Trzynski. Flutters through to Moundsview. Moundsview brings it through and into the Elk zone. Tries the center. Didn't quite get there. Thomas tries to go up to Halverson. Didn't quite work. Moundsview got a shot. Thomas brings it up for Trzynski, who got it up to Halverson. Halverson coming in, 2-on-1. White gives it to Halverson, and an amazing glove save by Moundsview. Wow. I couldn't do that if I tried. That goalie is flexible. Bratzel taking the draw for the Elks, goes to the near board. Moundsview rings it around. Bassett there to keep it in. Brings it down to Rotz. Bratzel able to pick it up into the corner. Brings it through up high. Bratzel goes down to Westgard. Westgard has it. Comes it through for Skyberg. Skyberg takes a shot. And chest save by Moundsview, which will bring the face-off to the far board in the Moundsview zone. Rotz taking the draw. Rotz goes over to Westgard. Westgard back to Bassett. Back over to Skyberg. Skyberg takes the shot, gets blocked by Moundsview. Westgard able to come back and pick it up. Westgard over to Bassett. Bassett way over to Skyberg. Skyberg dumps it down deep into the Moundsview zone. Moundsview picks it up in the corner. Bratzel steals, brings it through for Westgard. Comes off the board. Moundsview able to come out with it. Moundsview comes through. Skyberg steals, brings it out into neutral. Rotz picks it up, gives it to Bratzel. Bratzel tries to leave it for Westgard, but the period is over. After period 2, score is Elks 5, Moundsview 2. Shots on goal are Elks 26 to Moundsview 6. It's microphone. I'm doing that playback.
You're not on the air.
Oh, okay.
Well, you might be. I have to